Thank you for listening to Pal Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pal Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie V. We are back in the building after being gone for a good while, and everybody, I'm telling you now, we have a show planned for you. We got some great questions. Dan is going to come with some great topics for news because we have opinions. Believe me. But before we get into all of that, let's introduce my co-host with me. The Indie Insider himself, Mr. Dan Murphy.
Hey Ed, how you doing?
I'm doing good. We had a great discussion for Expansion Pass. I know our good friend Daniel from Turn by Turn was with us talking, and every time we mentioned something, Triangle Strategy just came up, and we I think having a show about Triangle Strategy.
We just popped off on Triangle Strategy the whole time.
Yes, because it's a very good JRPG. But everybody know it's the boss man himself, the one, the only, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hello, I am here as well. Thank you for having me on your swell program.
Hello. I know me and you both had an adventure last week.
Man.
It's been a adventure. Just we'll leave it right there.
I gotta tell you, man, it was a week of a long work days.
I will say that, yes, that is true. But the hotel was nice. I will say
it was very nice. It was a suite in the Venetian. It was nice.
Yes. Oh, did you get your Earl sandwich?
No,
for breakfast.
No, I did not.
No, I know we talked about it.
We did, and I did not get it. It's okay. Next time.
But everybody joining us is the gorgeous and great Mr. Greysun Morales from Games Rants. Hello, good sir.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about some Nintendo stuff. I'm wearing my Pikachu Pokemon 25th anniversary sweater. I mean, it's not really. I mean, I guess it's kind of Nintendo related, but it's Pokemon, so whatever.
It's a cool sweatshirt.
Nintendo adjacent. Thank you.
Yes. Well, everybody, before we get into what we've been doing on the weekends, I have to address something with Mr. Greysun Morales. He made a tweet about what if Breath of the Wild, Metroid Prime 4, and Bayonetta 3 were all coming out in 2023. And literally my soul fell out my body, and I was just like, sir, you must explain yourself. Because I cannot. Because I have a feeling that if that does happen, 2023 is going to be a bigger year than this. Because, like, where do Nintendo go from there if that happens? So, Mr. Morales.
Before he explains this, can we just say that Nintendo really has just a big year every year since, I don't know, 2017?
Yeah.
I don't know. 2020 and 2021 weren't exactly big years, right?
I mean, Animal Crossing was in 2020. I mean, Animal Crossing, Paper Mario, and Age of Calamity, I guess. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah. I guess if you're going to have like a down year, that's their down year, but.
That's definitely a down year. what was 2021? Really? Yeah, Age of Calamity. God.
Let's see, 2021 Switch games. I don't even remember what came out in 2021.
So last year.
Oh, Metroid, Mario 3D World, Monster Hunter, Super Paper Mario.
Last year was a great year.
Shin Megami Tensei 5. Dan, how'd you forget about that?
Monster Hunter Stories. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. Once I finished Shin Megami Tensei 5, I kind of just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Left it in the past.
Dan's like, I played this RPG for 200 hours. I'm blocking 2021 out of my brain forever.
Oh, but we also have
kind of what happened.
And we had Bravely Default 2 last year.
Huh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. And Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The best Mario game.
Oh, I love that game. I swear, Dan, playing with you and Jack and just us not getting through that level was hilarious.
That was funny.
Oh,
That was fun.
That was pure comedy.
Okay, but like, so when I made that tweet, it wasn't like I was kind of joking, but kind of serious. It's funny because like there are people that commented that don't even follow me that are like getting mad at me, talking crap about like Bayonetta getting delayed or something. I'm like, so there are two things with the tweet. So like, I don't actually think Metroid Prime will come out next year. Maybe it will, but I doubt it. Bayonetta 3 though, I do think it's gonna get pushed next year. But I was telling Ed earlier, like this year is going to be such a banger for Nintendo. I feel like that it doesn't even need Bayonetta 3, and I feel like it's fine if it gets pushed next year with Zelda and whatever else comes out, because you have like at least Xenoblade 3 in the fall and
Splatoon.
you have Pokemon. You have a new generation of Pokemon, which is going to be huge.
Splatoon
Then you have
3.
everything else they have planned.
Mario Striker this year. Like,
and I think since Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed, that leaves the door open for some ports or maybe another Zelda remake to come out in the fall too. So
Or the rumored Fire Emblem game that's done and waiting for a release date.
Yeah, that too.
And we have Kirby this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Three Hopes.
I almost feel like Bayonetta would get lost this year with how much is coming out, because we got Mario Rabbids 2 coming out too. Like, I mean,
oh yeah,
there's
I forgot about that.
So much. Like, push it. Who cares?
Xenoblade 3 is the one I'm so excited for.
I know.
Well, yeah, I was telling Dan and Corey, I'm like, Xenoblade 1 and 2 are the games for the summer that everybody's going to be trying to get through, and the tournament.
Well, when they announced Xenoblade 3, Xenoblade 2 popped up to like top 3 for sales on the eShop.
Yeah. And the physical copies, since they've been out of print since early 2018, for that and Torna have skyrocketed.
Yeah, Torna's been hard to find physical copies.
I know.
Even before that.
Yeah. Well, I think they short printed it because I think if whoever bought the season pass got Torna for that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I am actually kind of confused at why they released a physical edition of Torna, but
I bought it just because it was awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but
I got it because it was $20. So, thank you, Target, for that good sale.
Oh wow, you got it for $20, Torna?
Yeah.
I feel like I bought it for like 40 or something like that.
I originally got it when it was $39.99, I think. Because I remember it was like $10 more than the expansion pass, or whatever they called it.
So. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Platinum Games has also been kind of like all over the place lately. So I don't know. Like, I don't know.
They need a win.
Yeah, they need a win bad.
After Babylon's Fall, like, just need to go away for a little bit and
look. Give us Bayonetta 3, give us Astral Chain 2. They'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes. Which would be funny if Ninja Theory.
Nope. Move on.
Bring Hellblade 2 to Switch.
Nope. Move on.
What?
It's not. Nope. Move on.
So, well, thank you, Grayson, for explaining and discussing it. So we're going to get into what everybody's been doing, seeing how their weekend was. Dan, how was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty good. Ariel went on her bachelorette party, so it was just me and the dog all weekend, and it was great. We slept, we made the house a mess, and we ate a lot. So that was my weekend.
Oh, nice. Grayson, how was your weekend?
I didn't do too much. Saturday was kind of like a deep clean the house sort of day because I'm freaking out if the house is dirty situation. You know, when I wake up and I like in a bad mood and I just want the entire house to be spotless. So that happened. Sunday, I was pretty much just chilling at home playing like Kirby and some other stuff. And last night, me and my boyfriend went out to eat at Replay. I don't know if you've ever been to Replay. But it's like a arcade like bar, but they have like they have bar food, but it's like really like kind of upscale-ish bar food, and they have a bunch of like old arcade cabinets and stuff. Really cool.
I heard of it, but I want to go there. I haven't been there yet.
Yeah, there's like one in Boys Town and one in Andersonville and stuff. Very like gay friendly, so it's very, very cool place. Yeah, besides that, it was pretty much like a laid back weekend, nothing too crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Corey, how was your weekend?
It was very busy. My son's birthday party was this weekend, so we bought a bunch of food and got a cake and cupcakes and all this other stuff, and we ate a ton. So there's this Mexican place that's right down the road, and we bought the package that was like feed 10 to 12 people, and there was 11 people at this party. And we were like, okay, well, we should probably order a little bit extra because they never really give you enough when they say that, and everybody in our family likes to eat anyway. So we're like, okay, well, we'll get the small package that feeds 3 to 4. Oh my gosh. So everybody ate a ton. And so there was like 5 of these catering trays, and everybody ate so much, but then we brought home a full tray for us. My sister-in-law and her family kept a full tray, and we gave food to everybody else that left. And there was still food left over. So
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so much food, and we're still eating it. We ate it for dinner last night, and I ate some of it for dinner tonight. And it was just it was so much food. But that was my weekend.
All right. Well, my week, gotta give everybody preface to this. We had a break-in at my job, and we had 3 guys try to get into our pharmacy to steal some prescription medicine. And they didn't get anything because ours was super locked. But when they left, they got a fire extinguisher and covered the whole store.
What?
With it. So Monday we had to close the part of the store. Like we had to close it to like 4:00. So that's why we didn't have power block. No, we was able to defeat Bowser and Ganon. We did stop them. But unfortunately, after we got done fighting them, I got called into work, so I had to kind of take over. On top of one of our manager's daughters had some medical problems happening to her, so she had a seizure. And that Tuesday she had 2 seizures, so she was going to be out for the whole week. So while all of that was happening, I had to run the store. Like I literally was the store manager in charge. So for the last 7 days, I have been at work.
Wow.
So my whole weekend consisted of me being at work because my real store manager, she was on vacation because of spring break for her kids. So I had to be there at work. So that was a adventure. So that Saturday and Sunday, pretty much was able to do was just being at work, but also cleaning and playing a certain game that we're going to be discussing later in it. But and also picked up another game that I'll be talking about later because I was thinking about buying it physically, but I'm like, no, I got some extra money. I could go get this digitally. So. But pretty much that has been my weekend. And goodness. But before we get into Snacktendo, Corey, do you want to shout out some Patreon producers?
Yeah, let's do that. So I want to thank our Patreon producers. Starting next week, this is going to be pre-recorded, and you don't have to listen to me babble about Patreon producers. But for those who support us on Patreon, you can get Expansion Pass 1 week early for just $1, as well as Standard Definition After Dark 2 weeks early. And and for those who support us at the $5 level, you get your name shouted out in our producer tier level. So I want to thank Adriel Munger. Thank you for your patronage for the month of March, and Rebecca Jewell for your patronage in the month of March, and my wife, Sana Dierig. Thank you for your patronage. So, thank you, Patreon producers, for the month of March. We're going to start addressing you guys every month for the previous month. Every week for the previous month. Yes, that's how it goes.
Okay.
So
well, everybody, yes. With that, everybody, we're going to get into Snacktendo.
Woo!
So, Corey, we know that your son had a birthday.
We did.
But what food did you guys eat?
Tacos, man. We made some tacos. It was we got chicken, beef, grilled vegetables, rice, black beans, cheese, and a whole bunch of salsa and chips. Oh, so good. Dude, I got to tell you, shout out to Casa del Rio Express for their grilled vegetables, man. You got some green and red peppers in there. You got some squash and zucchini in there. Oh, just grill them up, slice them real thin. Oh, so good. It's just the best. We prefer them over Chipotle because like Chipotle is just so hit or miss anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And man, it's just so good. Casa del Rio, man. They follow me on Instagram. Made me feel special.
Oh, nice.
Made me feel special when they followed me. So,
nice. Grayson, what have you been snacking on?
a bagel.
I don't know. I don't really. I haven't really been like snacking on anything. I don't know, like super, like worth talking about. Like when I went out last night, like I told you, to that restaurant, I had like a mushroom sandwich. Because we try not to. I'm not like I don't call ourselves like vegetarians, but like we just try not to. I don't really cook meat at home that often. It's mostly only when we go out to eat. But we've been eating a lot of meat lately, so yesterday I tried to eat something like vegetarian. It was really good. It was like a mushroom sandwich. It was a lot of mushrooms though, with like toasted French bread and like onions and a lot of like I think lettuce and some other stuff in there. It was really good, but it was pretty much like falling apart, and it was like a salad by the end of it. You know, when you eat a sandwich and you have all this stuff that just fell out of it on the side. But it was really good. I had like sweet potato fries, which is always a good choice. Yeah, I don't know. I feel I don't have anything.
That's good.
Interesting. I'm sorry.
That's good.
Yeah.
Dan, how was your snack weekend?
You know what? I had a cheesecake from
Ooh.
Ariel got me a cheesecake from Ruth Chris because I helped get her a rental car for her bachelorette. So, yeah, it was really, really good. But I mean, all cheesecake is good to me. So, but yeah, it was like, I like the ones that have like kind of, like a harder crust, like a more graham crackery crust. Yeah. And this was one of those, and it had like a good raspberry drizzle on it. It was just like very good. I'm sure it was very expensive, but worth every penny. And it tastes better that I didn't pay for it, so it was free for me.
Yes.
Free food always tastes better.
Yep.
Speaking of free food, I had Chipotle for free Friday. Somehow one of my associates, she ordered from the Chipotle across the street, but the DoorDash person delivered the wrong order to us. And so it was a burrito bowl, but it had steak in it, and it had like rice and salad and the fajita stuff, and it was like really good. Not too spicy. She had some queso in it, so she had 3 bowls in it. And so I was trying to, avoid anything with like hot sauce in it, because I really can't eat it because my nose would have been running, my eyes would have been crying, I would have been looking a hot mess, like I've been crying over something. But I got that bowl, and man, they steak was really good. I'm like, ooh, this is really good. So I had free Chipotle, and then the girl who ordered the food, I sent this other associate to get her right order, and they gave her money back. So I was just like, okay, cool. And then my my other manager, she bought me Domino's, and so I got a Caesar salad, and I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I got Italian sausage and pineapple on my pizza.
Oh, Ed.
What do we gotta kick him off the show.
God, Ed, you're fired.
I'm not here.
Dan, we're taking over. Greysun, you're replacing Ed.
All right, here we go.
End the call. We're done.
Yeah, start over.
No, it was really good. Just changing up because I normally get like black olives and like Italian sausage, but I was changing it up and everything.
What happened to just good old fashioned pepperoni and cheese, man?
You know what? I don't eat a lot of pepperoni.
Ed.
So I like to be
Ed, you're fired.
Ed, you're just, gosh, have you ever eaten a pizza before?
Yes. I like to be adventurous with my food, and definitely Domino's allow me to be adventurous.
It's like eating a sandwich with no bread.
Well, I have done that too.
Oh my gosh! What?
Why?
Is that even a sandwich?
The only thing I can think of when Ed says that he's done that before is that weird KFC thing where they had like the 2 fried chicken patties with like the cheese in the middle that looked super just.
What was that thing called?
Double something.
Yeah.
Heart attack to go, maybe.
Right. Yeah, but I was being adventurous with my food and everything because I didn't really do too much. Like I had
It was called the Double Down, by the way.
The Double Down. I had like Dunkin' in the morning. I had my Monster Mango and everything. Like we haven't got any new snacks yet into our store, so I haven't really got to try anything. But like for food wise, just the basic stuff, McDonald's and Burger King, and getting I got some home run in from the grocery store. Had a sausage one that was really good, but yeah, nothing too special. And my sushi I did get also, just some salmon sushi, just really good. But everybody, we're gonna get into question the block, and Corey, you have the questions, so go ahead. Put this into your hands. Let us know what did people ask us.
I do have the questions. Also, I apologize that if you hear my son, he is crying in the background. So just bear with me. I'll mute myself after I read the questions. So our first question is from our longtime listener, Deshaun Malone. He says, "Yo, I got a question. Was Zelda delayed till 23? What do y'all think will be the big game this fall? And what does the lineup look like? Also, we need y'all to do a live show in person." I mean, if we ever get big enough, I would also like to do a live show in person. Live shows are cool. I don't know, Ed, we kind of already talked about this at one point, but I mean, I'm sure Dan and Greysun have other answers for this.
Well, I know. First. I think the majority for a lot of people is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Like, that is the game.
Yeah, but Pokemon also, right? I mean, Violet and Scarlet are the big games. Those are the games this fall.
I think the 2 people sitting across from you guys are, one is a Xenoblade looking forward to Xenoblade, the other looking towards Pokemon.
Yeah, I am looking forward to both.
I think I feel like Xenoblade is going to be huge, but it's still not like that game that's for everyone. That's like a huge Nintendo holiday title. So, like I mentioned earlier, I just feel like there's going to be maybe some Zelda stuff coming, like whether they just port Wind Waker and Twilight or do like another Link's Awakening remake for the Oracle games, or like they bring over Link Between Worlds or something like that, just to appease Zelda fans, because we didn't get anything for the anniversary. It was like literally nothing that even like talk about it that much.
Oh, we got that awesome Game & Watch.
I mean, that's fine. But...
announcement of a delay.
what every Zelda fan wants. Yeah, I don't know. Besides that, like we don't really know, right? But I think Nintendo also has the ability to have a direct in the summer and just have like 1 or 2 games under their sleeve, like they've done before. With like, I remember they announced Paper Mario Origami King like literally like 2 or 3 months before it came out. Same with Metroid Dread, right? It was very like close to release, so they could be having some stuff, and we could potentially see it soon. As far as what they could be, I don't really know because they haven't really. I feel like there's not really a franchise that needs that's kind of lacking a new entry, right? Besides like the ones that we haven't seen in a long time, like Star Fox or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, but you're not going to position Star Fox as like a big fall game, right? You're going to position that where Kirby is right now, probably. And it's like a springish April, May game where there's not a lot coming out, and you want to make sure you push that at some point. Although the Switch games just come out and everybody buys them, so what do I know?
Is Splatoon going to be a fall game, or do we still think it's going to be on track for summer?
Summer.
They said summer, but that could go all the way into September, technically, So, I mean, you could see that in July or August, I'm assuming. It'd be like August.
I bet I bet they plug in Advance Wars somewhere in the fall now, too, since we don't have a release date for that yet.
Yeah, me and Grayson was talking about that earlier. I kind of feel like the Advance Wars Reboot Camp it's probably going to take the place of where Zelda was at, since it's now empty. So, because then now you still have where it's Xenoblade, Bayonetta, Pokemon, and then Advance Wars. So you still can have a strong fall holiday with these games, and then it's definitely with Fire Emblem 3 Hopes coming into play, and then whatever indie game that's going to be coming that year. We still don't know about that. And Sony get into the game with. I'm sorry, Corey. When Sony get into the game like Microsoft, and they started to put some stuff on their platform on Switch, that would be a huge thing to see.
So I think Pokemon took Zelda's spot in the lineup.
Yeah, I kind of thought like Zelda would be the October game, and obviously Pokemon would be the November game. But like, don't forget, we still have summer. We still have probably a summer direct, like an E3 style direct coming that could be like, is there a Mario game coming that we don't know about? Is there like a new proper Fire Emblem? Is there something that we don't know about yet? And so that's kind of what like. I'm interested to see now that Zelda has been delayed. Do they announce like another filler type game? And there's also the rumor of that Metroid Prime 1 remake, that they've outsourced.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
So I think there's a lot of games that we know about that we can handle it with Zelda being gone, and then a lot of indie games, PC, and Sony and Microsoft, they can still bring something to the system that we don't know. Of course, we got MLB, the show coming up, but maybe there'll be some DLC that we could be getting. More games for Switch Online, for Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, NES, and N64. Like, we could be getting some of those games, and who knows, they may finally put the Game Boy Advance stuff there.
We get the Mario Kart 8 DLC coming in waves too. That's something. Even if we don't have anything huge announced, I think they're still going to be fine. There's so many games coming.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to answer another question. This comes from Josh Martinez. What was the video game or moment that made you fall in love with gaming?
For me, it's Super Mario Brothers. When the first time I played that and got the controls and being in the level, I've been with video games ever since. My mom, she did have a Atari 7200, and I played that like faithfully. But it was like Super Mario Brothers that really got into me. And the second part I have to say would be arcades, because every time I went to the mall, my mom would hand me $1 and I would disappear. So if she needs to find me, the arcade was the GPS that all she had to do and go to.
Yeah, I don't have like a specific gaming moment, but Pokemon Red was the first kind of game I remember playing on the Game Boy. It was my first Game Boy game, and I think I got the Game Boy and Pokemon Red at the same time as like a birthday gift when I was probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. And then from then, I've been a big Pokemon fan and Nintendo fan and JRPG fan. So I think that's what kind of started everything.
I would say mine was Final Fantasy VII. I played games since I was like 5. You know what I mean? I played Tetris, I played Mario Brothers, but that was like the first one I was like, I thought about playing the game out, like when I was at school or playing outside, and I was like, man, like what the hell is going to happen next in this game? And like I just really, really wanted to go back and keep playing it. And it was like the first game that ever made me emotional with the story at the end of disc 1. So yeah, that one's got to be mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to ask you guys, was that first game not only your first love, but maybe that character was the first one that became your favorite that you enjoyed, or was it just the game itself?
For me, it was a game itself, because Pokemon doesn't really have memorable. I mean, Pokemon Red is fine, but it doesn't have like memorable characters, I feel like, besides like the Pokemon themselves. But I mean, I feel like that just solidified my love for the Pokemon brand, and Pikachu and Pokemon like that. I don't know.
Yeah, for Final Fantasy VII, I mean, the characters are part of the story, right? Like, yes. I didn't have like a character I obsessed over, but it had a full cast that I just absolutely loved.
Yeah. For me, yeah, it was Mario. Just the way that he controlled and the way he just moving me, controlling him, and then seeing him on the box. And definitely when I saw him on Mario Brothers 2, I was just like, when I think of Nintendo, I think of Mario. Like, he became very iconic. If you wanted anything Nintendo related to give me for a gift, it could be anything that has Mario. I told Corey the story about Super Mario Brothers 3, after watching it on the movie The Wizard, and seeing that big yellow box with Mario in his raccoon suit. I ran and got my mom to get this game, because I was so hyped for it. Like, anything Mario related, I was always ready to go. Even Nintendo Power, when I seen the play, like the first magazine, they had a Clado kind of display of Super Mario Brothers 2. And I was just like, I have to have this and everything. So it really has to be, for me, Mario. He's still important to me. Like, that's why when most of his games come out, I've always end up going to get it, because he's in the game. He's the representation of Nintendo, and that's what I grew up with. So, well, we got one more question. Daniel from Turn by Turn asks, what are some of your favorite standalone games? So no sequels or planned sequels. I definitely could say Gree is one of my favorite games. It just the emotional, just that emotion that game, the beauty of it. I even when I go back and watch other people play, or I start playing it, I get lost in that game and I focus so more on it. It's one of my favorite games.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I saw this question. I didn't even think about indie games, because I was just thinking about like major titles, because I feel like indie games don't ever get sequels, besides like those franchises that are really popular, like Overcooked or something like that. But I was thinking of Lollipop Chainsaw. I'm such a big like Suda 51 fan. Like, I love No More Heroes and some of his other games, but Lollipop Chainsaw is like one of those like super niche, just hack and slash action games that just like like so much fun and stupid and quirky, and the boss fights are like really memorable. The music is really good. So yeah, that one it's one of my favorite games, and I always want like a remaster or like something, so people can like experience it, or I can experience it like again, at least once. It's so much fun. I love that game.
I was tossing up between two of them. One of them was Legend of Dragoon for PlayStation 1. It was like one of the OG PlayStation JRPGs that I loved. And then the other one, I was just going to go with Celeste. Like, I absolutely love that game, and I'm actually really surprised that there's nothing down the pipeline for, even doing like a big DLC or something like that for it.
Another one that came to me was Vanquish. I love Vanquish. It's so good. Just going.
Is that platinum too?
That's platinum. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sliding around, jumping in the air, shooting in the slow motion. I love that game. For it. Any honorable mentions you guys want to give or you could think of?
Yeah.
For like indie games, like Journey is one of my favorite indie games ever, which I recommend everyone should play. What else was I thinking of? Firewatch is one of my favorite indie games too. So yeah, some honorable mentions there.
What about you, Dad?
Indie games galore. Wargroove,
so many, right?
Wargroove's so
Hades.
good.
Yeah, like there's so many of them, but I'll give them all honorable mentions.
For me, my honorable mentions is going to be The Last Guardian for PlayStation 4 and Quantum Break for my Xbox.
Yeah.
When you talk about, the action and stuff is good, but this was the first time I'm just like, okay, Remedy made a really great game, and I love the TV spots on it. I'm like, this is the TV stuff I want to see, and I wish they did like a follow up to it and everything. So that is just great question, Daniel. So we're going to get into the second portion of the show. This is mostly Dan's set. We're going to get to, hey, you, what's new? So, Dan, tell us about the new releases.
All right. We actually have a lot of kind of big releases this week. Tomorrow, we're recording on Monday. So tomorrow, it's Tuesday, April 5th. We have Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. That one's coming to digital and physical for $59.99. MLB The Show, that's kind of a big deal that it's coming to Switch.
Yeah.
This has always just been a Sony kind of, it's been a Sony produced game. It's coming to Switch, and it's going to be cross-platform. So on your Switch, you can play people that are playing on PlayStation or Xbox. And one also really cool thing, which is going to make me actually buy it twice, is you can do your Diamond Dynasty, like set it up on your PlayStation. And if you're playing on Switch, you can actually link it and like continue to play it like while you're on the go.
Cross progression, right?
Yeah. So
really cool.
that's really, really cool. And I'm happy to see that they're doing that. Because Nintendo's never really had these mainline sports games on it, and if they do, it's FIFA, and they just keep copying and pasting it every year.
Yeah.
So this is great to see, and I hope it runs well. Thursday, this is the one I'm very, very, very excited for. I retweet about it literally every day. Chrono Cross: The Radical Dreamers Edition is $20. It's a remake of the popular 2000 JRPG. And then there's, a whole bunch of other indie games, but you can check that out on our site, www.bossrush.net, in the article, What's New Nintendo. But any of those games you guys are going to get this week?
So, probably Chrono Cross is definitely going to be one of them.
I already have it pre-ordered.
I know. And I was waiting to see if they was going to do physical, but only Asia's getting it. So I'm probably going to end up just buying it digitally for Switch. I'm really going to give this one a chance because I was telling Grayson, I'm like, I don't like the combat, but I want to see this game through. So I think I'm probably gonna end up putting in like a lot of hours grinding, getting strong. I'm gonna try to learn this magic system. This magic system is confusing. Now I know Final Fantasy VIII magic system is way more confusing, but I'm going to try to learn it and try to experience this game because I really want to play the game for the story than anything else. And it has a great soundtrack, and I like some of the characters that's in it. But I really want to take my time with this game. Hopefully, it just grabs me because this was my Christmas game when I first heard about it when it came out. I got this game for Christmas, and I tried so much to love it and everything. And even when my mom asked me, "Do you love this game? Do you like your Christmas gift?" I was like, "It's good. I like it. I enjoyed it." And deep down inside, I was just like, "I'm not having fun with this."
Man, the music's so good.
Yes.
I just decided to listen to it on Spotify the other day, like the soundtrack, and I was like, "Man, this is all so good."
Yeah, they be putting like the remaster songs out, and I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, it sounds so good remastered."
Is that a long game? Do you guys know?
Yeah,
it probably takes about, I'd say it's about 35 hours for the first playthrough.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad.
Because I think it was 2 discs when it originally came out.
Yeah, let me see.
It's not bad.
I want to see the reviews for the House of the Dead remake.
Yeah, it says Chrono Cross is about 37 hours to beat.
Okay, that's doable. I've played Chrono Trigger, which I loved, but Chrono Cross was like one of those games I just never really played. I think I checked it out for like an hour maybe back in the day, but never got into it that much. Star Wars though, I haven't played a Lego game in a very long time. I think the last time might have been like on the Wii, like Lego Indiana Jones or something like that, you know. And I think I played one of the really old Lego Star Wars games. But this game got really good reviews actually, so I was considering downloading it tomorrow on Switch and playing it. So nice. We'll see. Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I'm not really sure yet if I'll have like the time, but yeah, I'm excited. I was really surprised that I had like really good reviews. I was worried with all the delays and all the news about the crunch developers went through and stuff like that. I was like, oh, is this game going to be kind of like messed up? But it seems like it's really polished, and I'm a big fan of the Star Wars film, so it's going to be really exciting to kind of go through all the films and, you know, have that like Lego comedy, you know, tinge on it. So yeah, I'm excited. I think I'm going to get it.
I know a lot of people have been hyped for it. They've been asking about it, who's all picking it up this time. And I think this is kind of maybe the first Lego game that I've seen a lot of people excited for. So
they seem like it really they changed like the way the camera controls. Like you have full movement. It's like more behind over the shoulder. So I think it's gonna be like really dynamic and cinematic and stuff. So I'm like, oh, it sounds really really cool for sure.
All right.
Yeah. Besides that, I'm probably not picking up MLB since I don't really play sports games. But I'm excited for people to play it on Switch, and I hope it runs well, like Dan mentioned.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear of it running well.
Yeah.
But man, I'm excited. I'm a big baseball fan, and just to be able to play a baseball game on the go is going to be so nice.
I think I'm gonna pick it up Friday. For MLB to show, because I kind of want to show support, and this would be actually my first baseball game that I've actually brought.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So, well, that was Hey You, what's new? And now it's time for Family News. You ready, Dad? Take it away.
I am. Well, unfortunately, we have to kind of start off Family News with some somber news. Early last week, developer Mohammed Fahmy, he had passed away. He was 32 years old. He was a big Boss Rush Network was a big fan of his. He's a creator of Coffee Talk, which, you know, we have a Talk the Walk show about it. We have a few articles on our website about it. It's just generally a very loved game. So he had passed away last week, and Steam is running a little memoriam for him. So all the proceeds that are made from what comes after his game on Steam, they're going to go all towards his family and supporting them. And this is going to go through all of the month of April. So check that out on Steam. It's $4.99. And, he'll be missed. He was such a nice guy. He was such a positive influence in the whole gaming community. And he just had so much respect amongst other developers and everything too. So sad to see him go.
Our plan was we was going to try to see if we could, when his new game would have came out, we was going to try to
After Love.
Yeah, we were going to try to get him on a Talk the Walk episode and have that discussion with them. Because
he was so excited to announce that too. So sad.
Yeah.
So
sad.
Well, it's not really an easy segue out of there, so we're gonna jump right into the first news story. So this one comes from Stephanie at bossrush.net. It is Legend of Zelda, whatever they're calling it, the sequel for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, got a delay to spring 2023. This isn't very surprising to most. Nintendo announced this on a tweet on March 29th, and they just basically said, here's one new screenshot of the game. We want to make sure it's perfect when it releases, and we'll see in 2023. Either you guys surprised about this or have any concerns?
No.
So I am surprised for this. Because there's been so much development time for it. I was thinking that, okay, they kind of been quiet since E3 of last year, so they pretty much been working on this game. And I kind of figured that, getting my Nintendo lineup planned for the fall and for the winter, this would be the one that they probably go out with a bang with. Mm-hmm. Or again, trying to find out where does it go, where does it fit in the month and everything.
Yeah,
I really didn't expect them to delay it. Definitely with knowing that Monolith Soft is helping out, and with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 being finished, they might be doing some quality control stuff, checking it out. I thought more people would go to that team and hurry up, clean stuff out, get it optimized and have it ready to go.
But we know Nintendo, there are two franchises that if it is not polished and ready to go, they will delay it until it is ready. And that is Mario and that is Zelda, right? I know that COVID hit Nintendo especially hard, right? Mm-hmm. But still, by the time this comes out, it's going to be 6 years. It was 5 years between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, and they rebuilt that game from the ground up. Like,
wow,
this game.
That's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Shoot, they rebuilt Twilight Princess from the ground up.
They did not.
I thought they did.
No.
Or they redid part of the assets.
You mean the Wii U version?
No, the game itself.
Oh, yeah. Well, every Zelda game since Majora's Mask has been rebuilt from the ground up on a new engine or a new variation of the engine. But, this is a direct sequel building off of the bones of Breath of the Wild. Mm. They better be doing some zany stuff in this game, right? I mean, I know we have the sky stuff, right? And there's rumors of an underground, right? But man, what are they doing to this game? What is this game?
It's funny that you mention a rumor because it's we've heard nothing about this game. Where are these rumors coming from?
What, the Breath of the Wild ones?
Yeah, there's going to be an underground or there's going to be this. I think
it's just people assuming from the trailers, right? Because that first trailer they showed, they were kind of in a cavernous area, and then the sky stuff has been shown off in the trailers. So, I mean, that's but still, like you said, we've seen maybe a minute and a half of this game. What is this game? We saw Link go through a rock that it was floating in the sky. through like some sort of weird portal, right? And then we saw the Master Sword kind of melt in this last delay announcement.
And then there was 30 seconds of skydiving. So yeah.
And Link has long hair now, apparently. So
I think with like because of COVID, and also maybe like their scope with this game has dramatically increased over the last few years. Maybe, like you said, Nintendo doesn't really release anything until they think it's ready to go and polished. And maybe this game was ready at one point, and Aonuma or whoever was like, this needs more, or like, this is not what we need from the sequel. Like, I think they really want to make sure that it's not just another Breath of the Wild. I think they want to really make sure that this is a game worthy of being a sequel to that.
Right.
Well, it's kind of weird to see that this was planned DLC that turned into the second game. And so if we're talking about any game being ambitious and going to be kind of huge for a world for people to explore, it would be this one. And I guess they, like I said, they probably just a lot of testing, a lot of ideas that they had planned, but they probably wouldn't have time to implement. They're going in to now implement this. And Nintendo knows that they're going to make their money back on this. So whatever the development cost for this game, they're going to make it way back, because I think they're aiming for another 10. They're aiming for, okay.
Well, yeah, nobody aims for a 7.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think everybody was just like, I think when they said that Zelda was really going open world, they didn't expect it to be this open world and be this iconic, so that when you look at open world games, this is the level that it's going to get compared to, and so I think they're trying to top that, or they're trying to do something where, this is another open world game, but this is the evolution from what we did to where now it's separate, that we were able to top ourselves, and now who's going to top this or compare open world games to this?
This game is going to have, I think this game's going to have verticality, which is going to change the way the open world works. Obviously we've seen the sky stuff, but I think you can probably... I bet you can skydive from the islands in the sky to the ground underneath. And I still think there's time travel involved. I still think there's going to be some sort of time element to this game.
Yeah. I mean, didn't they show Link use that stasis ability that reversed?
Yeah. But
So
I think there's going to be something more drastic to where, like, the broken locations you saw in Breath of the Wild that resembled places from older games are going to, you can go back in time and see them rebuilt in their heyday. I think this game is going to be massive. I mean, Breath of the Wild was massive. I think this game is just going to blow it out of the water. We're going to look at Breath of the Wild and be like, oh, how did we play that? Ugh, it's gross.
Well, I think my question is it like with the kind of like with the arm piece and, Link having the symbol on his arm, I wonder the hand that was holding down, I guess, the defeated Ganon or wherever that enemy was. I wonder if that's going to be the reason, that is connected to Link. Because of course Link loses his arm, but I feel like that other arm is replacing it, which ends up affecting the Master Sword being broke. Like someone knows how to break the Master Sword. So where do
Link dies? We play as Zelda.
Where does the story go, and how does the sky play a part in it?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how far along they were when they announced the game. That's the one thing I'm curious about, right? Because I think they announced it in September of 2018. So we're talking like 3.5 years now, going on to 4 years. Like, how far along were they to like at least be able to announce it? And then like, how far back did COVID set them? Because we know like it was a big deal. So I don't know. We just know nothing about it. Maybe they announced it too early.
There's also the question that I know a lot of people, thought of Nintendo fans talk about it, but they could be holding it back because of the Switch hardware. Like we can see another Switch revision, or maybe they're ready for a new console soon. So I don't know. Like that is also a possibility. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it's going to be like 6 years since the Switch came out, and that's kind of getting to the point where Nintendo starts to switch out. I mean, I don't think they're going to do something drastically different from the Switch. It could be like a Switch 2 or like a 4K sort of thing, but I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I mean, this is already the longest
cycle
for Nintendo, right? I mean, every console except for the Wii has been 5 years, and the Wii was 6 years, right? So,
yeah. Wow, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Well, I know you talked about it, Corey. About another Switch, and my argument has always been, I'm like, they just released the OLED last year, and I kind of feel like, not outside of the chip shortage and everything, and that NW2 kind of leak with Nvidia, I kind of feel like they still want to push the OLED for at least another 2 years, 2 or 3 years before they go and announce something.
Well, we kind of talked about it too. Is like the Switch has kind of been on a cadence now that every 2 years it's going to get some sort of refresh, right? So the launch Switch, and then 2 years later we got the extended battery Switch and the Switch Lite. 2 years later we get the OLED, still the same insides, but the OLED. So next year theoretically could be some sort of refresh, which would extend the life even more. Hopefully, the one we all wanted the OLED to be originally, right?
Yeah.
So. But do you think that it would be in October that they would do a new Switch?
It'll be around a little bit before the holiday, right? Like when did the OLED come out? September or October?
October.
It came out
in October.
Yeah, because it came out with Metroid. You're right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Like they could also just be pulling going the iPhone route, right? Where they're going to they can have the Switch hardware for 10 years, but everything's still compatible with, you can play Breath of the Wild 2 on the original Switch, but if you have the new Switch, it runs better and it's 4K and it looks, fantastic. But I don't know. It's very un-Nintendo,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Is it though? Because you look at how many iterations of the 3DS were there? How many iterations of the DS, right? And everyone got more powerful to the point where there were only certain 3 games that ran on the new 3DS. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think Nintendo does whatever they want, and nobody can ever guess what they're going to do. Because
we can't predict. We can never predict. Everything we said is not going to happen. Nothing we said is going to come true. It's going to be something completely out of the ordinary.
My thought is they've struck gold with the Switch idea, and if they went back to just a normal console and a handheld, they would be making a huge mistake. I don't know. I don't care if I do care if the next console is backwards compatible or not. But if they go back to just the console and handheld separate, they're doing something wrong.
They can't do that.
Yeah. They can't. They can't do that.
No.
I think that what's going to happen is that Dan and Corey going to make a prediction. They're going to get it right, and I'm going to look wrong like I'm normally am, because Dan and Corey predicted Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was happening. I said no.
Ed's going to be sitting in his house alone eating pineapple pizza, just knowing he's wrong, crying with every bite of terrible pineapple.
Yeah.
And then the first thing is Dan's going to say, I told you. So that's probably going to what happened. But I'm still going to bring up my wacky takes, my hot predictions, and I think
wacky takes is right.
I think a lot of us are going to be looking forward to spring 23. I think it's definitely going to be in March for the release. What the title will be, I really don't know yet. And because that would actually be
Skyward Sword 2.
Wait, didn't you just say spring of 23 would be the hardware release?
Would be Zelda's release, not the hardware.
Yeah.
No,
Gotcha.
Because now thinking about it, I'm like, just think, we get Breath of the Wild 2 in spring, Dragon Quest 12 that following year.
What Dragon Quest 12? Where did that come from?
No,
What
because
are you doing, Ed?
no,
Yeah,
no,
Ed,
that's,
no, pause.
I'm trying to explain.
Look,
I'm trying to
all
explain.
I know is that Nintendo cannot release another Switch. I already have too many.
The reason I bring up Dragon Quest 12 is because that's another big RPG that everybody's looking forward to, and it's coming to Switch.
No.
So to have those,
No, stop. No.
All right, so we're gonna put the brakes on Ed.
Yes.
And
Wait,
just move on
what?
to the next one.
Mute.
So Andrew Millard from our wonderful BossRush.net, he writes about E3 officially canceled.
boo.
Will Powers on Twitter he writes, just got an email. It's official. E3 Digital is officially canceled for 2022. Lots of mixed feelings about this. And once E3 got canceled, people started debating a lot back and forth about, do we really need E3? Do we want E3? Should it have been digital, or should it go back to being what the normal E3 was? So guys, are you disappointed, and do we need E3? Ed, let's hear your hot takes. Burn up my computer.
You went to Ed first.
Yes, we need E3. E3 is more professional, more control. It's not like the Summer Game Fest where we don't know what's coming, what's going to be planned. We don't need 15 conferences over 3 months. No, we need a great idea that that's always been with E3s, that is that we all make predictions, we all take a look at what's going to be announced, and it just be a good bonding time for us. Like it tells us what days what we're going to get and everything, and it just feels more focused as an event when they do the digital presentations, because we're mostly there for the presentation. We're not really there for being in person until they open that back up and they decide it. And we're there to see what are they going to release, what are we going to get, what's the coolest trailer, what bunker announcement that we did not expect for any of the platforms. And Microsoft's gonna go hard on Game Pass this year. Sony's probably gonna go hard on their PlayStation Plus stuff. Nintendo might have something for Nintendo Switch Online for the summer, like some game that we didn't expect, maybe Mother 3, or even Sega CD games. There's always some kind of prediction. There's always just something about it that we all tune in and have a good time, whether we love it or not. So I think it's still important for us to have it because it's just so more organized. And for some people, it is tradition, and for others, it's going to be new to them because they don't understand the importance of E3 and why it's there. Of course, it's a big marketing thing for like retailers and stuff, but it's for us to be like, man, we could plan out the rest of the year and be excited for the games that's coming to all these various platforms.
I'm gonna miss it, to be honest. I really just kind of love the hype surrounding it. Now, mind you, last year, like, it did feel like something was missing a little bit with, having it all just be digital. But like, everybody was celebrating, right? Except Sony fans, because PlayStation's too cool for E3. But like, there's so much cool Xbox stuff, and like, I never ever would watch like a Microsoft presentation unless if it was E3. And then when I sat down and watched it, I was like, holy crap, like, there's some amazing stuff coming out for Xbox. I still may not get it, but it's like, now I can kind of join in on the hype with the people that are excited about it. And that was like a cool feeling. And then just like having people super hyped for Metroid and everything. So it's like, there is an excitement. There is a certain joy behind E3 and just like the celebration in gaming, and like one time where like everybody really can just enjoy games and get over their console wars and everything,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's me.
Yeah, it's I was not surprised to see that it was canceled. I think even when E3 was running normally, like before COVID hit, it was already kind of, I don't know, like felt like it was dying, because I went to E3 physically, I think 2018 or 2019, and it was like super empty. which was very weird because I went to E3 like 2015, 2016, and those were super busy, super crazy, lots of big announcements. But it's slowly starting to get less people and less attendees and stuff. And like I don't think we necessarily need it, but I don't like the way that Jeff Keighley has been handling the whole Summer Games Fest thing, especially the first time around. Like Ed was saying, it's really bad for people who have to cover news stories, and he's literally putting like 20 presentations together over the span of like 3 months. And most of the presentations, people have no idea when they're happening or like what they even are. Like I remember there's like a Games Radar future game show presentation. Like what are you doing? This? No one's watching this. You guys are showing stuff that we already knew about, and it's just like random indie games or whatever. I do think we need like just a weekend of Nintendo Direct and then the PlayStation Showcase and then Square Enix Showcase. It doesn't have to be E3. I just think it's better when it's condensed into a few days and we can all tune in, like Ed said, and come together as a community and talk about these huge announcements. But E3 itself, I don't think it has to be E3. It could just be, oh hey, it's this is, I don't know what it's called, but it's just this weekend of big game announcements that everyone's going to tune into. I just feel like a lot of publishers lately, I don't think they necessarily like being forced to have all these announcements ready at a certain time. I feel like companies like Nintendo, or PlayStation like dropped out of E3 because like, hey, we don't have stuff ready and we don't want to have to like show the same games over and over again just to have an E3 presentation. Mm-hmm. So there's like a negative to that where like companies may not be ready or they're kind of like forced to show stuff early, show off their cards too early, which like Nintendo has done before and PlayStation, of course. But I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen. I think Jeff Keighley can continue to get closer to making a E3-esque showcase. He just kind of has to, I don't know, make it a little bit tighter.
And may I also add that the PC Gaming Show, more people have been into PC gaming and watching their show because of E3. Like it is a place that PC is getting love because
once they mentioned one game that you and Jesse found in the PC Gaming Show.
I know
it was like one that kind of Bloodborne-y style game.
The Pinocchio thing?
No. Is it the
Remnant? Remnant from the Ashes.
Yeah, Remnant from the Ashes. Yeah. We watched that and we were just like, oh, we need this. When we found out it was coming to Xbox and PC and everything, we were just like, oh, let's jump into this game when it comes out. Like there are with the PC, I love that they are doing main games and indie games, but they will announce that it's coming to different platforms also. And if it's not coming to the platform, everybody's gonna say, I hope that comes to Switch or I hope that comes to console. Mm-hmm. And that's why with the PC they're talking about, hey, put this on your Steam wish list, and people are doing it. There's the marketing that some of these companies do for E3 has been working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna miss E3 itself, like as like a thing, but like it was always nice to have that beacon of like E3 is the moment we're all looking forward to, whether it's EA Play a week before or Microsoft the day before or Sony's State of Play the week before. Even like Nintendo or the Pokemon company puts out that Pokemon Direct usually the week before, right? Like it's like this nice beacon of like, okay, we're gonna get some cool announcements. Obviously, like Microsoft had this great presentation last year, like Dan said, and there's just a lot of excitement and fun for kind of hardcore gamers to come together and talk about the things that we love. And that's what I liked about E3. E3 is like a thing, whatever. Like E3 itself, I don't really care. If somebody could just come in and be like, okay, let's tighten it up. Jeff Keighley's thing is a nice idea. And I think that first year when it was all spread out, I think a lot of people were complaining that everything was scrunched into 3 days, which I could see that's kind of annoying, right? When we did Boss Rush at Night that year, I thought I was going to die just doing all the night shows and like getting them all edited and everything. That was like, boy. But over 3 months is way too long. I think we need like almost like a 1 week or 2 week kind of span where we just kind of celebrate everyone, and everyone gets their own day maybe, or, you know, demos, or, you know, just something to tighten it up, you know. And it's just a nice thing to look forward to in June and be like, Ed, you ready? You got your snacks? You know, Dan, you ready to watch this? You know, are we ready to do Boss Rush at night? Whatever. It's just, I don't know. I'm going to miss E3 as a concept, but not, I mean, you know, in person. I've never been in person. I don't, you know, to me, it's always been a digital event because I only watch the streams. But yeah, it's weird. Because it's always like a nice thing to say, like, oh, we're looking forward to E3. What are we going to say this year? Hey, we're looking forward to summer game announcement time soon. So I don't know.
Do you guys think it'll come back next year?
Yeah,
I think they're going to try. As long as the ESA is around, they are going to make E3 a thing. Yeah. You know,
I think they'll do it in person again next year.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the model has to change, right? I think it's got to be more along the lines of PAX or Gamescom at this point, where like maybe the first 2 days are media days, right? Or the first 3 days, and then the rest of the week is like, you know, you bring people in to play demos or go to the show floor or whatever. I think their model is just archaic. I don't think that's where I have a problem with E3 is like their business model needs to change, and the way they changed it is wrong, and they need to just figure it out. I'm not the guy to do it because I don't know what I'm doing in terms of business. I can just see it and say that's probably the wrong way to do it. And you see PAX, you see Gamescom, even Tokyo Game Show to an extent have success by having like media days or just like, you know, presentations. You know, PAX isn't really known for announcements, but they have great presentations and in-depth things where E3 could look at the PAX model and say, hey, we can do that. Plus, we have announcements for media days. You can come in, see what was announced during media days. You know, our prices should be lower, you know, whatever. But I think they can make a really cool thing out of E3 if they just did it right. Get some food trucks outside, have a party, get some DJs in there, maybe a couple beach balls, just kind of float. That's my thought.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else on E3?
I won't be able to do my snack list this year, but maybe
not with that attitude, Ed.
Well, I was about to say maybe if we see what these companies are solo, you know, doing for the summer with their presentations, I probably would make one.
What about Jeff Keighley's Summer Snack Fest, Ed? You have 3 months of snacks.
Oh my goodness! Just go to Aldi's and get whatever you can find.
All right, so I'll just read off this last headline. We got 3 new games over on Nintendo last week on the NSO. It looks like Super Nintendo and NES. We got what is this game? We got Mappyland.
Yep.
How can you forget Mappyland? Dig Dug 2, and then the one that I'm really excited about is Earthworm Jim, and that one's for Super Nintendo. So I actually played a little bit of Earthworm Jim 2 the other day.
Okay.
But that's it. So back to you, Ed.
All right, everybody, we're going to get into doc mode. Kirby and the Forgotten Land has arrived, and we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land has arrived, and we have engulfed in the beautiful and fun game that players are enjoying. After some hard slashing and rolling from Elden Ring and other bigger action games, it's nice to see how Kirby has become the platforming game so many people need it in their life. We're going to discuss our time with the game and what makes Nintendo platformers so magical. So, Elite Block agents, you ready? Let's go! So, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Me, Greysun, and Dan have been playing it. Me and Greysun have finished the game. Dan, you have made a lot of progress. You're close to the end. And Corey, you experienced the demo.
Boo.
Just kidding. I installed and played the first level of the demo.
Okay. So, well, we're just gonna give our impressions for Kirby first. I'm gonna start with you, Grayson. What did you think of this game?
Yeah, I mean, I really like it. So some background, like I'm not like I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest Kirby fan, but I have played probably most of the mainline games. Like my favorite Kirby game was probably I played a lot of Nightmare and Dreamland on GBA, which is the remake of the Kirby's Kirby's Adventure, right? That was the remake of the NES game.
Yes.
Yeah, I played a lot of that. I really like Kirby Mass Attack on the DS, which is really underrated. And after that, like the Wii ones and the one that came out on Switch, I feel like Kirby just kind of lost its charm and magic and kind of has just felt samey and I don't know, just sort of so just I don't know, so like streamlined and in a good way. But yeah, Kirby in the Forgotten Land is just like such a cool improvement on the Kirby formula. Like I love how they've opened everything up a little bit and have made it more similar to like Super Mario 3D Land / 3D World sort of vibes. Kirby controls perfectly. I love what they've done with the upgraded copy abilities. They're all so much fun to use. The mouthful mode has been really fun. And just I think one of my favorite things about this game are the side objectives that you have for each level that really incentivizes you to go back and go through every nook and cranny and find all the Waddle Dees. You're finding all these capsules and you're finding like the secret passages and there's so much stuff to collect. Like I'm literally going through each level and not going to the next one until I 100% that level. And I've been having so much fun on honestly. I think this is my favorite Kirby game ever. Like I was telling Ed earlier off the show, but like I don't know what part of HAL Laboratory developed this or if it's like different, but it feels like there was a younger team working on this that kind of just had an idea, like the Splatoon team, and just wanted like a fresh take on Kirby. And it just worked super well. Like I think they hit the nail on the head with like what they're trying to do, and it's just a really well crafted, really clever and fun Nintendo game, you know? Yeah.
All right.
That's my thoughts.
Dan, what are your thoughts?
So I've never been a big Kirby fan. Kirby's Dreamland was the first game I actually think I ever played as a human. And I like obviously I absolutely loved it. I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. And I never really liked any other Kirby game. I think I tried Kirby's Adventure on NES. I tried Kirby's Dreamland 3. That one was on Super Nintendo. And I could just never really get into those games anymore. Like, I don't know why. They never hooked me for longer than a half hour or 45 minutes, right? Like, they just felt stale. Like, everyone kind of felt the same. So I had zero intentions of getting this game when it came out. But then I played the demo and I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And it felt a lot like Mario 3D World in a sense of just like how everything was set up. And the level design is just incredibly like detailed and it's incredibly fun. It's not a challenging game, but like it's so enjoyable. I'm actually doing it a little different than Grayson is. I'm like beating the level and kind of getting what I can through the level and trying to explore as much. And then I've been going back after I beat the world and starting it kind of again and going through each level. And the levels, like, even if you play them 2 or 3 times, they somehow like feel fresh the whole time. And they're very, very big levels too. So, you know, it's not like a 2-minute level. Like you're in these levels for 15 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes. And especially if you're like me, just trying to find everything too. But overall, it's just been a very positive experience. And like, it's kind of just a reminder that games should be fun, right? Like it's just a fun game. That's all there is to it.
All right, Corey. From what you played, what are your thoughts about it? Like, how does the game at least feel to you?
I mean, I'm sure it's like a really great experience. I just, Ed, we've talked about this a million times. I'm not really a platformer guy. Like, I think Super Mario 3D World is the best Mario game, and that should tell you all you need to know about my favorite platforming games. But
not a bad one.
No,
it's a good game.
I mean, I agree. It's not. It's great, but like, I think that they were going for something, and it was really kind of a different take for Kirby. And I will always champion a company trying something different and changing up the way that their IP works and what they're trying to do with it. And Kirby has always been a franchise that they experiment with, right? With Rainbow Curse on Wii and Canvas Curse on DS. Like, those are some great those are some great games. I really love Rainbow Curse on Wii U, actually. It's a wonderful game. They always play around with the art style, right? I mean, Rainbow Curse and Epic Yarn are two games that come to mind, right, in terms of art style. Robobot is something really unique and interesting. So, like, they're not afraid to experiment with Kirby. And this is their, from what I played, it's more 3D world than Odyssey in terms, if you're going to compare it to a Mario platformer, which is cool. And I appreciate that. I won't ever fault a company for trying something new. Now let's try something new with, something like Star Fox, and, we'll be in business.
All right. Oh, wow. Well, definitely for me, I enjoyed this game. I already, claimed it. It has soundtrack of the year nomination. Like, the music is so good, and hearing it live, like this band, the styles is so good. Control is like really perfect. There are some iffy parts at some points at times when you have some of the power ups, but it's nothing like anything bad. My full mode is funny because it's funny and creative, because it's just like, I can't believe Kirby swallowed a car, but then you're racing around this Mario Kart track style thing trying to beat the time so you could get like all three prizes and stuff, and you're trying to dip around, and it just feels so good, having Kirby in turbo mode and everything when he's doing it. Definitely when he gets the light bulb, and it becomes, in a sense, it becomes like Luigi's Mansion at that point in time. Like, they really pulled from a lot of games to make Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and they put the great things about it that just like completely works. With it, beautiful environments. I love that the baddies sometimes they'll fall asleep, or in one of the levels they're at the mall and they're having like lunch, so the food is circling around, and they're just like having this kind of cute kind of like lunch thing, and you don't want to interfere, because once you do it, they'll be like, huh, and then start chasing you. So it's really cute. It's really cool of how they present some of the enemies to you and some of the ideas with it. Kirby with the big donut eyes, like, he'll have his mean looking eyes, but something will happen and he'll be like, whoop, like the surprise. And the design of it is so funny when you see it, because he's just like, what the world? Like he's so surprised from it, and it's just so good. Beautiful intro too. I do love the intro cutscene on how the game starts. It's not too hard to learn. Now, I will say this game may seem easy, but it gets challenging later on, especially if you're trying to do the time trials for the special bonus rounds. Good luck, because that game is not, that part is not easy.
Those time trials, they end up being like very unforgiving
to the wire.
At the end.
Something that you go like to the wire, where I'm like, oh, I'm barely making this.
Yeah, I make it by like 0.02 seconds. And
like,
yes. There is one boss fight. I won't speak about the final, but there is one boss fight that really took me a while to think about it, because they pull from Bayonetta with one of them, because it's like, it kind of like slows down. You probably know what I'm talking about, Grayson.
Yeah.
It's the armadillo.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Yes. That one was like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing, because like Kirby doesn't have a dash button, he doesn't have a run button, so it was nice for them to like slow it down so you could get out the way to make time for it. And it was kind of cool, like it has an automatic kind of
that slow down. That slow down dodge is really just such a cool mechanic that they added in here. That makes box fights so much fun.
Yeah, it's so funny that the silly armadillo, or silly Dillo, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He pulls out a fake kind of like
a doll or like a marionette kind of thing.
Yeah, and it looks horrendous, and it's so funny because he makes these kind of like paper mache crafted characters. So he makes one out of Kirby and out of another character that I won't spoil. And at one point he's chasing you with a cage and everything. So he's trying to actually capture you like you a Pokemon or something. And it's so funny with it, but it's also strategic because you have to bust one of the Kirby's that's on top of it so you can get a Waddle Dee if you defeat the level. Like they incorporate so much with this. It's just so smart. Now I will say the final version, I can't go into it. It's an experience that if you got this game, you have to go into, because wow, they took a lot from it. Your mouth would be on the floor. With
yeah,
it. So,
it's one of the, like, we're not going to talk spoilers or anything, but it's definitely one of the wackiest, ridiculous endings in a Nintendo game that I haven't seen in a long time. Like not just
really?
Kirby games, but just like like I'm never gonna forget this ending.
So I get a theory to throw at you guys. What if after all of this, Kirby is just the bad guy? So like, hear me out. Like Ed mentioned this. Like, so you, first of all, like you show up in this land where you don't know anybody and you don't know anything, and like you run around these levels, and these monsters are kind of just minding their own business. Like sometimes they're having lunch and you just go and smash them with a hammer. Or there was one point where they were waiting in line for a ride, and I just show up and light them on fire. Like Kirby's a horrible human being at this point. Like, is Kirby the bad guy after all of this?
Guess that's debatable.
Like
they gave him a gun too. He has a gun.
They give him a gun and you just shoot people. Like, what are we doing?
Yes. Well, about the copy abilities, do you guys like these? Like the upgrade? I like the fire. That's my number one.
That's one of my favorites. That one, like the fully upgraded versions, make you feel really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And they kind of make Kirby feel like this omnipotent god, because, and this isn't really spoiler, but like the last fire power up, you can fly kind of.
Mm-hmm. And turn into a dragon.
Yeah, and once I saw that for the first time, I'm like, whoa, like they really like went for these. And a lot of the upgrades or the copy abilities, they upgrade in a way you don't really expect them to. Like the drill power, it turns into like a pencil sharpener kind of thing, and then the shavings will come off and like hit enemies. It's just so creative. Like every time I got a new upgrade, it was really fun to see like what it was gonna be and how you were going to use it like out in the levels, and getting the blueprints themselves can be tricky too. So there's just so much cool stuff.
The ice that you use when you get the final ability, you could be blown in a form snowman with the hat and the scarf and stuff. You can
push the snowman, to the enemies. It's
really, that was actually a cool like side mission, the one where you used that copy ability.
That one was
and
hard.
Blowing snowmen up the like moving tracks. That was really fun.
Yeah, I think the target time for that one was actually one of the tough ones for me to get that one.
Yeah, that one I did like maybe 4 or 5 times before I got it.
Yeah, like it's easy. It's definitely easy if you want it to be. If that makes sense, but there's so much extra challenge. Like I had it on wild mode for the first part of the game, but I was trying to beat a boss without getting hit to get one of the optional objectives, and I was trying over and over and over and over again, and I could not do it. So I put it back on easy mode, and I did it, and I don't think I put it back to wild mode for the rest of the game. But there were still some parts that gave me a little bit of trouble. So I was very happy with the difficulty levels.
Yeah. So for the copy abilities for me, I'll do like a 3 up and 3 down, but I really like the fire, and I didn't like the first 2 swords, but then when you get the Meta Knight one, one's
so
awesome. Good. Super, super fun. And then I loved all versions of the bomb copy ability. And then the 3 down, I will do the ice ability. I just never really had fun with that one. I don't know. It seemed kind of weak the whole time. The cutter ability I just don't like. And I don't think I have a third one I don't like. But those are the 2 I just like. I'll say like my third one will go to like the first 2 versions of Sword. But like, a lot of the times I just found myself just dropping copy abilities in boss fights and shooting them with stars.
I mean, it does a lot of damage when you get a lot of stars.
And it's just more fun.
The worst one that I don't like is the time hat.
I love that one.
It's really cool when you're fighting a boss and you can just like one-shot it, basically.
There is a trial that you have to do with it to get it off the way, and it doesn't explain the ability to you or anything, because you're like, you only got 5 seconds, but you got to realize that you have to hit the enemies to get more time, to keep the time going. You know, because if it goes out, you lose the round. And I had to do that over and over. And I was just like, it was an ability that I feel like it didn't have no use in the game, because there was no level that uses it. And also the sleep ability. Like, the sleep ability is mostly just for getting, there's Waddle Dee thing that if you sleep in front of the secret pool, you get it.
Yeah.
And that was like,
that's the one time in the entire game you have to use it.
Right. So I was just like, some of these abilities I wish I could use more. Some of them I just like, they don't do nothing for me or anything. Is there one thing that you guys just like really disliked about the game? Dan?
No, I honestly, like, I haven't found anything that I really dislike about the game. It's overall just such a joy to play. Like, I've enjoyed it almost every second I've played of that game.
Okay. What about you, Greysun?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything. This is just like a kind of quality of life thing, but I wish there was a way to kind of what was I thinking of? Not to you can restart the level, I think, right? Or no. I think you have to exit the stage to be able to restart it, but there are times when I like pass a section and I just want to go back to that section to collect something, and you can't it's hard for you to like go back sometimes, and you just kind of have to keep going through the stage. I think you also have to like, if you go back to collect something, you have to finish the stage to have it register as you collecting it. So that kind of sucks. I wish you could just like jump in, get something, and like jump out. But that's just probably me writing. I've been writing a lot of guides for this game, so it just kind of, I have to spend more time to do certain things. But no, I mean, this game is awesome. Like, I really love it.
For me, sometimes it's the camera is too zoomed out, and sometimes you end up losing Kirby because a lot of stuff is happening, so you can't really focus on it. Because there's been times that I have the spike rolling one, and I have rolled off parts because I can't see what is all going on, because everything is kind of camouflaged together, and the camera being zoomed out. But other than that, yeah, I don't have no problem.
Actually, I did have something else. I wasn't sure if this is like a frame rate thing, but you guys know when the enemies are in the background too far and they start looking like a claymation, like they move like 2 frames a second.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't. It was kind of jarring at first, but later on, it kind of just fit with the art style a little bit with me, and I was like, oh, it's kind of cute. Like, it looks kind of charming in a way.
That's actually that's actually like a design decision that Nintendo has been making on a lot of their games. Because Metroid was like that too, where obviously Samus and the enemies were moving at 60, but some of the background stuff was moving at 30, and then there actually like the third depth of field, things were moving at like 20, like water motion and stuff. So I wonder if that it was just kind
Link's
of like
Awakening did that too, I think.
What did?
Link's Awakening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Digital Foundry have covered Kirby, and they talk about that in the background part. So if you are interested, you can go watch that. But I want to ask you guys the second part of Doc Mode. What makes Nintendo platforms just magical? What is it about them that just make these games perfect or just so creative and fun to play? I know, Corey, you don't play a lot of platforms on it, but you probably have seen a lot of games that a lot of people have talked about when it comes to their platforms.
I mean, you look at Nintendo, and they've been doing platformers since Donkey Kong, right? Since the original Donkey Kong, theoretically, right? They know what they're doing. They know how to be creative and innovative and smart with their design, right? And we talked about the original Super Mario Brothers on an expansion pack a couple weeks ago, where like they are smart in teaching you how to play the game. You know, obviously in recent years they've been a little bit too handholdy, but you look at that original Super Mario Brothers, and it's like if you don't jump over that Goomba, you're dead. You know, they if you don't sprint and run over that hole in the ground, you're dead. You know, and their design, especially in platformers, is so smart and so uniquely them to like. Games are always going to be compared to Super Mario forever. You know, like, I mean, remember when Little Big Planet came out and everybody's like, yeah, this is a cool idea, but Mario feels way tighter. Or, you know, even, you know, Nintendo's own games like Donkey Kong Country, like the new ones are, you know, those are fantastically designed games, but people are like, oh, well, Donkey Kong's a little bit too heavy and he slides a little bit and it's not as tight as Mario. I still think if you're playing with a Nintendo 64 controller, that Mario 64 is still one of the greatest 3D platformers of all time. You know why? Because they were smart with their design. They know how to do it. Even that was their first attempt at a 3D platformer, and it is one of the best 3D platformers to this day still. You know, my favorite Mario game is Super Mario 3D World, and along the same lines as Kirby, right? Like there's a start point and there's an end point. It takes the best of what makes a good 3D platformer and what makes a good 2D platformer, and somehow they merged them together and made them work, right? And there's just something magical about a Nintendo platformer, whether you are into platformers or not. You know, I'm not really a platforming guy, but I will stop to at least try Nintendo's platformers because I know one of the questions, I walked away for a couple minutes because my kids were crying, but I know one of the questions was, you know, what game made you a gamer? And I was like, well, I played games since I was like three years old, right? And I got my Game Boy and Tetris and Ninja Turtles and Mario Land or whatever, right? Played NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, whatever, but like the game where I said I'm going to be playing games forever was Super Mario 64 when I got my Nintendo 64, right? That's the game that I always point to and said, this is when I knew I fell in love with games for what they are. You know, that's when I started paying attention to games. That's when I started subscribing to Nintendo Power. That's when I started exploring, you know, Saturn and Dreamcast stuff and moving on to exploring the whole breadth of games instead of just like, oh, Ninja Turtles. And, you know, it's just, there's something really iconic about Nintendo's platformers, and that's what makes them special. They are easy to play, hard to master, and they are the master of that concept across the board. Whether it doesn't even have to be a platformer, you know, you could be playing Zelda, you could be playing Metroid, you could be playing, you know, I don't know, Mario Party, I guess, if you don't get screwed over at the end. Like these games are so great for all audiences, and they play so well, and the music is so good, and the platforming is so tight that it's just, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Grace.
Corey pretty much said everything there needs to be said, but like, I was thinking about games that try to sort of emulate Nintendo's platformers. Like, let's think of a game like, I don't want to like hate on anyone that likes this game, but Yooka-Laylee, is a game that I've tried to play. It's a game that obviously tried to, be like Banjo-Kazooie and like 3D Mario, but it doesn't. When you play it, it doesn't have that same. The world doesn't blend. How am I supposed to say this? Like the levels and the world and the area you're exploring does not. It doesn't blend well together. It doesn't like. It's not a concise world that feels good to explore. Like Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite 3D Mario game, just because every level you go through, everything just feels perfectly crafted. Like it's there because everything was placed perfectly. Like everything is there for a reason. Every platform is there for a reason. Every single enemy is there for a reason. It's not like placed haphazardly. Everything has a place. And you couple that with like the way Mario feels, or any Nintendo platformer, how the character feels, like how it controls, how easy it is to like, how easy it is for Nintendo to show you how to play without telling you, like with text on the screen. They don't have to be like press A to jump or here's a tutorial menu. It's like no, they teach you by you're just playing and you're learning as you go. Yeah, and it's with the music and stuff. It's just always a good time. Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
I mean, kind of everything these guys said, but like I think their ability to like not take themselves too seriously and still make everything, fun and familiar. So like with Kirby, one of the funny things about it is like I haven't really played a Kirby game like fully since Kirby's Dream Land, and I'm still recognizing some of the enemies in this game as if like they act exactly the same as they did in Kirby's Dream Land, and the way they can find a way to implement this every single time into their future games makes the games just like fun, familiar, and like very approachable, which not a lot of games have because there isn't that familiarity to it. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much the only thing I can say that's different than these guys said, along, coupling it along with like incredible controls. Like that's one thing Nintendo does very, very well is they make just incredibly tight controls. Like Super Mario Maker, probably the best 2D platforming controls that there is. Like the mechanics are just perfect on it. So that's pretty much it from me.
I know for me, definitely, I agree with you on what you said. One of the things that like really kind of magical is the art style they decide to use. We got Kirby's Epic Yarn. We got Yoshi's Crafted World. We got Yoshi's Island, where the game is looking like a crayon. Was used on the graphics. And then we got just the Mario games that they have been using, different graphics for, like Paper Mario and like the 3D Mario games, just having that particular look and everything. It's always their art style and meshing with their level design that just really makes it magical to me. It always feels like you guys are doing something different that other platform holders are not haven't achieved yet or haven't even tried. Because for Sony, I mentioned Sony because Insomniac was the platform developer for that console with Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank. Now that they own them, they make different games and everything. Microsoft don't really have like a platforming kind of presence, but the games that have been on there have kind of been enjoyable. Super Lucky still has been, kind of enjoyable for some people on that platform.
That's a fun game.
Yeah, but Nintendo just has something like we talk about the music, the control, and kind of like a lot of their platforms have become a blueprint for other developers to not steal, but to help them create their kind of idea of a platforming game. Super Mario 64 has become a blueprint, but even Super Mario Brothers 2, look at how indie games are using Super Mario Brothers are using that kind of game for understanding how to make a platform. Mega Man is a different kind of game in a sense, but it's still, in some ways, is an action platform with all the jumping. Corey, you might recognize some platforming with Destiny, because there are parts of that game that you do jump around before you're shooting.
I'm aware.
But that kind of platforming is, in a sense, have been in platforming games that Nintendo has made.
Yeah.
That people can recognize.
And to point out what Dan said, like, they know how to make it fun. They don't need some elaborate storytelling mechanic to, like, design their games around. Like, don't get me wrong, I really appreciate things like Unraveled or It Takes Two, and I think that those games have a place in this gaming universe, right? But, like, Nintendo's approach is just, it's always been gameplay first. It will always be gameplay first. And sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. And sometimes we're like, yeah, we want Zelda to have this great story and whatever. And, oh, we want Samus to talk. And then Other M comes out and we're like, oh, never mind. And, that kind of stuff works and sometimes it doesn't. But, like, their approach to really making the games speak for themselves is something that is uniquely them, and I think it's why we all appreciate them to this day.
Yes. So with that, everybody, we're gonna call that a wrap for Doc Mode. We're gonna get to our last segment, playing with power. Dan, what have you been playing with power?
So I've been on my second playthrough of Triangle Strategy.
Second.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it took me about 40 hours to do the first playthrough.
Wow.
What'd you say?
I said, wow.
Yeah, it took me about 40 hours, and then this time I've been playing it like very differently. I've just been making like horrific decisions and just a terrible person. And then I'm gonna play through it again. I know I will, and I'm gonna go for the golden route that time, where you're just like a moral high standard. So I'm really looking forward to that. Picross S5. It is the last Picross I have available until Picross S8 comes out. So Jupiter, I know you're listening to this podcast. Please hurry up development. And then I made a pivot and I turned on my PlayStation the other day and I started playing Elden Ring.
Ooh.
I just die. Like, I don't know. I just like turn it on and I die.
I see your tweets.
I've never played one of these.
I see your tweets and it just says day 1 with Elden Ring. I died a lot. And then this morning I opened it, day 2 with Elden Ring. I still died a lot. I was like, oh
that's pretty much what it is. Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm pretty lost in it. So maybe next time when we do Playing with Power, I'll have a little bit of an idea what I'm doing on that game. But that's about it for me.
Well, we know Grayson has some tips that he can help you with if you need to.
Yeah, Grayson, you want to plug a guide for Dan?
I mean, a ton of guides over at GameRant.com. But for me, it's been pretty much Kirby since that game came out. I didn't drop Elden Ring, but I took a break to help out with Kirby guides and stuff. And I'm excited to go back to Elden Ring probably sometime this week, maybe. I'm almost at the end of the game, I think. I'm not entirely sure. That game has a lot of stuff at the end, I think. But man, like, that game is, and it's not a Nintendo game, but I think it's incredible. And I'm not like a big FromSoft fan. I like Sekiro, and I've never played a Dark Souls before. But like, I don't want to compare it to Breath of the Wild, but it gave me a lot of the same vibes that I felt playing Breath of the Wild for the first time. Just like the exploration and getting lost and kind of not really knowing what to do, but slowly figuring out what you're doing and getting stronger and going back to bosses that you really struggled with, and then just creaming it and feeling so satisfying.
The exploration does feel eerily similar to Breath of the Wild. I have to agree with you there. Like, it's exploration and opening up the maps, like, very, very similar. I didn't think it was like, I read people saying it, and I was like, there's no way. But then when I started playing it, like you, I'm like, wow, this is it.
Yeah, it gets kind of annoying because it's very obtuse, where like you kind of have to, you get to a point where you have to look up what to do, because you get these items and you're like, what the fuck, what does this mean? What am I supposed to do with this? Who are these people I'm talking to? You know, there are these quest lines that are really long, and you wouldn't even know that you're done with them unless you look up a guide, because there's really no way to know. There's no quest log. There's nothing that keeps track of what you've done. But you know, it's kind of like it's kind of the reason why I like it so much. It's sort of just going to the unknown and not knowing what to expect. Like, I played, I think, 60, 70 hours of that game, and you still have these these WTF moments. You're like, what is going on? Like, I didn't believe that, even I don't even know this existed here. I didn't know this enemy type existed. I didn't know you could do this thing. Like, that just happens over and over and over again, and that's what makes me just like play that. I can sit down and play that game for hours and hours and hours, and just like feel really good and feel like I've made progress, even though I've died a million times. But yeah, besides Elden Ring and Kirby, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I might jump into Lego Star Wars tomorrow. We'll see about that. But yeah, that's all.
Nice.
All right. Corey, what have you been playing with Power?
Well, I haven't really been playing much because work was really busy last week. But I did manage to play a lot of the new Mario Kart 8 tracks.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings. I like them. I hope some of them get better. I don't know. Something was missing for me when I was playing these tracks. But it was cool to see some of the mobile levels come over, because I've never really played them. And, seeing some familiar levels, I don't understand why people are obsessed with Coconut Mall. Like, I just don't understand.
I don't get that either.
It's not that great.
Yeah. Also, I hated Mario Kart on the Wii, so that's probably has a lot to do with it. But I have a lot of mixed feelings about the Wii. Well, they're not really mixed feelings. It's just one feeling, and it's hatred. Yeah, I played a lot of those. I played a lot of Tetris Effect. And I've been slowly making my way through Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, trying to prep myself for 3, and I am in love with that game. I love the way the world is. I love just doing dumb side quests for people. I really like the characters. I really like the dungeon design. Believe it or not, it's kind of almost reminds me of a Tales game in a way. I haven't really played this game since it was on the Wii, and so like I forgot enough about it to where it kind of feels fresh again. I really like what?
How far into it are you?
I'm like 10 hours in, but it's like theoretically I'm probably only like 3 or 4 hours in, because I keep doing all these dumb side quests and like trying to find new armor that I can just dress my characters up. I mean, my characters are just paper dolls at this point. I just want to dress them up and make them look cool, or naked, I guess. Sometimes I never
finished the first Xenoblade, but I remember appreciating the side quests, because when you complete them, you don't have to go back to the quest giver, right? It just automatically.
Oh yeah, it just automatically turns them.
It's really satisfying to see like the XP go up and if you level up. It's really.
Yeah.
I really like in the definitive edition that they actually, you can put on tracks to like find a way to go to these like do these side quests, because there's like a lot of collection side quests where it's like, oh, you need to find 3 ice stones in this giant map, and it's like, you gotta be kidding me. You know, and this like just streamlines it so nicely for you, and it, like the gameplay loop is so addicting in Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of all I've been playing, but I've been really like, even with the Zelda delay, I've been like itching to go back to Breath of the Wild. I want to play it again. I really want to play it again. And like, I want to finish Xenoblade first. So maybe after Xenoblade, I will finally just bite the bullet and start a new game and erase my golden poo and just go for it.
Woo. Are you gonna play Xenoblade 2?
Yeah.
Did you already finish Xenoblade 2?
I played a lot of Xenoblade 2 when it came out. I have not. I didn't finish it. But I want to play. I want to play Xenoblade 1, and then I feel like I don't want to get sick of Xenoblade, so I kind of want to take like that break and play another long game like Zelda. But yeah, I do want to play Xenoblade 2 before 3 comes out. So.
All right. Well, for me, I picked up Disco Elysium finally. And I haven't gotten far into it, but I kind of just like, man, it is such a PC game, because trying to move the character with the controller just like it feels off for a bit, and it kind of like I need a mouse pad or something. But I gotta play more for it. It looks like it's really funny. I am enjoying it, and I really can't wait to get more into the game. I am having fun with it. Great voice acting too with it. Played Young Souls, this action RPG, beat 'em up, enjoying more of that. I kind of figured that, you know, I'll make my male character powerful, but he'll have speed, and then I kind of have my other character use like heavy weapons, but she has bigger defense. So, you know, she'll become like a tank that was just like murder. While he could just like, he could get the powerful, a little kind of like powerful weapons, but like really be speedy and everything. So I am enjoying that. Last but not least, playing two more games. Triangle Strategy. I am playing that. I gotta actually pop it in now that I'm done with Kirby, and get through some more chapters, because I want to talk to Dan more about it, and I kind of want to see the choices that me and him are making through this game. You know, and see, am I making the right choice or am I making a bad choice? And, you know, have we made choices together, or have we did opposite and what the turnout has been? So I'm very interested with that. Last but not least, the Forsaken making for Voice of Cards. I am on kind of like the 4th boss in this game, and I'm getting my tail kicked. So I got to do a little bit more grinding, so I could buy a certain weapon and buy some potions and stuff. So it's getting challenging now, but I was overpowered because of everything else. So I'm kind of at the same level. I just need to get the right kind of items and stuff, and you know, power up just a little, grind a little bit before I go and fight him and everything. Because it's a kind of like somewhat tower defense where I'm at right now, where I got to make sure that the boss, which is this like kind of warm, that he doesn't leave the area so he can get to the town. So I got to beat his minions and then soon beat him. And what he should be using for me to destroy him, he's not weak against. So I got to figure out a better strategy on how I'm going to kill him. But that's it with playing with power. Corey, did we have anything for the giveaway or anything?
Yes. Before we get out of here, we are giving away Nintendo Switch Sports. I realized that the last time we made it a little bit complicated. It was trying to be a fun game, and we just kind of missed it, I guess. But so what we're going to do is you need to follow Nintendo Power Block, and then you need to retweet the giveaway. That's how we're going to keep track. So everyone that is a follower of Nintendo Power Block and retweets the tweet that will be going up on Wednesday morning, about the giveaway, you will be automatically entered. And we will be giving the game away the Monday before the game comes out on the live show. So what would that be, like the 25th, I think?
Yes. So
yeah.
Can't wait for you guys to enter in. And
follow and retweet.
So that's gonna be it for Nintendo Pop Block. Thank you, Grayson. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Corey. Grayson, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Greysun Morales, and you can find my work over at GameRant.com.
Yes. Dan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and you can find all of our great articles on www.bossrush.net.
Yes. Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast, and you can find me hosting Standard Definition with a slew of other people about other things that are retro and nostalgic.
Yes, you guys can find me on Twitter at ThatVentureCode. You can find more of Nintendo Power Block live on Mondays. On Wednesdays, we post a recorded show, and you can check us on Anchor FM and other podcast apps on Wednesdays. And also catch me on Nintendo Expansion Pass. Me, Corey, and other guests come together and talk all things Nintendo that we kind of missed throughout the week, and just kind of having a great discussion. But then, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Power Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!